Usually I start filming videos and I just like spit it out, and it's usually like one take and I'm good. I have started this video like 4 times. I don't know why. I think it's because I waited until nighttime to film and I don't usually do that, so that's why. Anyways, today I wanted to read a poem that I wrote a little while ago about kind of the stigma surrounding weight and dieting and things like that, and I wanted to read it because I'm doing a series right now debunking popular diets within culture, and I kind of wanted to share more of my heart behind why it is that I'm debunking it, and I kind of just want to show that I'm not doing it from a place of malicious intent or trying to say that I'm right and everyone else is wrong or anything like that. It's purely because I've seen the effects of dieting on my own life and on many people's lives that I love, and I just want to kind of change the way that culture talks about weight in general. And so I think that starts with one person at a time. So I'm going to read the poem and then I'm going to kind of break it down for you. The poem is in a book that I actually published back in January called Girl, Woman, Human Soul. I'll put the link in my bio, but this is just kind of a one-off thing, you know? Anyways, this is a poem called The Fight. Keep off the weight, as though extra skin were a feral beast to hold at knife point. But is the worst that could happen be becoming more than? And is that weight really even baring its teeth, or are you the one throwing punches at something not even attacking? You're wasting time and pain wailing at hypothetical parts of yourself when those arms could be wrapped around the figure you have instead. What if when you drop your fear in fists, the things does not lunge at you, but simply smiles and waves? What if all you've been fighting is nothing worth fearing, and the ones to be mad at are the ones who convinced you to wage an unnecessary war? Right off the bat, I'm going to say that whenever I read poems, I do a weird voice. Not a weird voice, I just do a different voice. I don't know why. Anyways, I'll dissect that later. So this poem was written after I was kind of thinking about the phrase like, oh, like keep off the weight, obviously, because that's how the poem starts. But basically the phrase keep off the weight, like people say, well, you can lose it, but can you keep it off? And when I think of the phrase keeping it off, I'm thinking of, this is gonna sound weird, but I'm thinking of someone like literally with like a javelin, like holding, maybe not a javelin, I don't know my weapons if I'm honest, but holding up kind of just like a weapon of sorts against this thing that we've been told to fear. Our whole lives, we have been told to fear gaining weight. We have been conditioned through hearing people say, oh, well, you know, she kind of gained a little weight, or he really let himself go, or she would look good with maybe 5 pounds less, and things like that. And like it or not, that has been ingrained in our brains. We can't just get rid of that narrative that has been taught to us and beaten into us time and time again. And as I was thinking about it, I was thinking about the fact that I have spent years of my life fighting my body and trying to keep it small. And as I have fluctuated in my weight over the years, as I have kind of gone up and down, found the natural level for where my body lies through intuitive eating, I've realized that this thing that I was told was this horrible thing and this enemy and this disgusting thing is just me. It's not anything wrong or bad. There is no moral compass surrounding the shape of your body. And I was really kind of angry because I'm looking around at a culture that has told me this my whole life, and it's hard to not get mad at a certain point, to not get angry at the magazines that are shoved in my face, at the photoshopping tools that are made available to teenage girls and to young girls. It's hard to not get angry when I read statistics about the number of children that are suffering with eating disorders. And it's a cultural thing. The idea of needing to be small does not come from nowhere. That is taught to us. We are not born with the immediate need of, I need to restrict this food or whatever. We just eat when we're young because we're hungry. And sooner or later along the line, somewhere, we are taught that is wrong. We are taught to make our body a certain way by doing food a certain way or by doing our lives a certain way. And that's really kind of just wrong and gross in my opinion. So I honestly wrote this poem because I was angry and because I was tired. It's an exhausting fight to constantly be fighting becoming more of yourself. It's a constant battle in your head to wake up and the first thought you think of is, oh, I shouldn't have that for breakfast, or I shouldn't do this or that. There are no should and shouldn'ts with your body or with food. It's just the way that you treat it. If you're hungry, you eat. If you're not hungry, you don't eat. It's just kind of how it is. And so I think it's really twisted how we've warped just life in general. Something as simple as feeding ourselves, which is an essential part of human life, we have taken and created an industry with. We have taken and created standards with, and we have decided what the ideal human is. And that's just messed up. And it's crazy too, because when you look back in culture and you see Greek and Roman statues of women and goddesses, their bodies look completely different than what they would probably sculpt today as the ideal. And I think that's really messed up. I think it's very strange. And it's not even necessarily any one person's fault. It's kind of on all of us, because we normalize this behavior. We normalize the speech of keep the weight off and, oh, you look so good since you lost that weight, or you look thinner, or anything like that. When we speak with a specific language, we are perpetuating an idea in culture. And so I think I myself have caught myself. I no longer like to compliment the appearance necessarily of my friends. Obviously, I'm gonna gas up my girls. Like, I'm not gonna not. I mean, that's one of my favorite pastimes, is quite literally just hyping them up. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem becomes when weight and things that people can't really control are brought into it. It's one thing to compliment a girl who clearly put together her outfit and did a great job and did her makeup really cool and be like, you are killing it today. Or to see a girl walk out and not have any makeup on and you're just like, you look really beautiful today. That's fine. The issue becomes when we start saying things like, have you lost weight? Or like, ooh, you're looking really thin. That dress is really flattering on you. There are better ways to compliment our friends. And there are better ways to kind of view people, I guess. So that was kind of convoluted, and I took some routes I didn't know I was gonna take, but that is where we are at when you film at 8 p.m. instead of noon. Anyways, we have been taught our whole lives to fear something that's not scary, to hate something that's not wrong, and to fight against something that is not attacking us. Our bodies are not attacking us. Culture is attacking us and making us believe that our bodies are the wrong thing. And I wrote this poem because I learned. I dropped my fists at a certain point and I just embraced myself instead. And that sounds so cheesy, but I really don't care at this point what sounds cheesy or what sounds cliche. I care what sounds true. I care what is true. And the truth is, I exhausted myself for years trying to be small because I believed that that would make me more lovable or that would make me more desirable. And the truth is, I was no less lovable or desirable at any size that I was at. That's just the fact of the matter. None of my friends liked me more when I was small. None of my family loved me more when I was small. None of them loved me less when I was bigger. It doesn't matter. We don't have to fight ourselves. I just want to make this to free you up from that and to make it very clear that the enemy you've been taught to fight is not an enemy at all. And I just want to free you up in that you are wasting time and money and so much of your potential and so many of your wonderful thoughts on something that you don't have to be worrying about so much. So that is today's video. If you think that you or someone you know is struggling with an eating disorder or struggling with their body image, don't be afraid to ask if they are. Don't be afraid to ask them. Don't be afraid to ask yourself. I'm going to put a screening tool below that kind of is a quick little test that you can take to kind of see, okay, where are you in terms of your healthy body image or healthy eating habits? And I really hope that you are encouraged by this and in some way freed up by this. That is all for today. Thank you for watching. I'll put the link for the book in the bio and maybe do more of these poetry things. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. That's all. Thank you so much and have a great day.